Many of you might know this one. If you know it, sing it. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light, everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Love you.
Good morning. My name is Steve Ferger, and I'm here to welcome you to today's live streaming Sunday celebration from the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Springs. You've been listening to Gary Lynn Floyd performing One Big Family, with some dancing Santas in tow as well, and our own Jeff Kingfisher playing along on organ and bass. We were so excited to welcome you back to the sanctuary this morning. It has been decorated in its holiday finest. But as you all know, our governor and our public health officials have issued a new safer at home order. We are in alignment with their word and respect the safe health practices of our community. One day soon, we will be back in the sanctuary. But this morning, welcome from my living room. On behalf of your Leadership Council and our senior minister, Reverend Eunice Chalfant, I want to extend a warm welcome to all our regular viewers here in Palm Springs and around the country. Richard and Bill in Illinois, Ron Simpson in New Mexico, Linda Ginn in Los Angeles, Dean Jackson, Tony Suter, and Stella Evans right here in Palm Springs. No matter where you are on your spiritual path or where you might be watching this morning, you are welcome here. We like to begin the service by reciting our mission and vision statement. Please follow along with me. At CSLPS, we envision a world where oneness is cultivated, unity is lived, and reverence for all life is practiced, empowering us to thrive individually and collectively. Of course, we do this through the teachings of science of mind and spirit and the practice of unconditional love. There are a number of things for you to be aware of this week. This afternoon at 2 p.m., Jumpstart Your Life. The Jumpstart class will take place on Zoom. The class is designed for individuals who are new to science of mind and want to learn more about our philosophy and the organizational structure of our center. If you're currently a co-creator but have never taken this class, you're also invited to participate. Upon completing the course, participants will be invited to become a co-creator of the CSLPS community with all the benefits and privileges such as voting rights and eligibility for leadership council positions. To join the Jumpstart class, click on the link on the pop-up page of our website, cslps.org. That is this afternoon at 2 p.m. On Wednesday evening, December 9th at 6:30, join Reverend Rebecca Venkatraman as she facilitates wisdom shares and sacred practices with a presentation titled The Luminous Mind. Illumination is light in the mind, the Word made flesh, and the integration of heaven and earth. It lifts us above the illusions of this world and allows us to detach from them. The evening's teachings will be based on the book Illuminata, A Return to Prayer by Marianne Williamson. 2020 is rapidly coming to a close, and it's time to begin planning for our annual meeting in January, which will be held virtually. There are several vacancies on the Leadership Council. We are looking for a few good men and women who are willing to step into these positions of leadership. We're also looking for social media savvy people to learn and support several different marketing and production skills currently vital to the functioning of our center. If you're interested in helping out or in running for the council, please call Margie Roth at the office and let us know. And finally, join us on Christmas Eve for an evening of community, carols, and candles. The link for this event can be found on the pop-up page of our website, cslps.org. In just a few minutes, our practitioner of the day, Stephen Record, will be offering today's reading and invocation. Tatiana Renfeather is holding high watch during today's service, and Reverend Rebecca Venkatraman will be the host in the upper room immediately following the service. Now, let's relax, center ourselves, and take a few deep breaths. Breathing in the love that is always present in, through, and around us. And allow that love to calm our hearts and still our minds as the music takes us just a bit deeper.
In once again to this temple we know. Deep in the body, gentle we go, and softly we hear the call as the silence between us falls, and we open a space and hold it until every heart finds a place, has its fill, and each wounded soul is healed in peace and goodwill as the silence between us falls. And together we hear the call.
Good morning, beloved spiritual community.
My name is Stephen Recker, and I'm a very grateful practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Springs. Today, we have two readings. The first is taken from the Science of Mind textbook by Dr. Ernest Holmes. And the second is from the book 40-Day Mind Fast, Soul Fast by Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. In flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and have brought back with them a distinct impression of what they have seen and felt. A glimpse of this reality illumines the whole being with a flood of light. Every mystic has had this experience. In moments of deepest realization, the great mystics have sensed that one life flows through all, and that all are some part of that life. And from Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith. In a moment of pure intention, supported by your sincerity of practice, you will hear your brother Jesus saying, "You are the light that lights up every man and woman who comes into this world." It is because Spirit yearns to share itself with you that it has placed its essence within you. This divine presence within your soul consciousness is what allows you to commune with God. Now, please join with me in taking these words within. As we come together in prayer this morning, how good it is to know and recognize that one infinite source of all joy, of all love, of all intelligence, of all peace, which I call God. And I know that God is in and through all things. I know that God is the essence of all that we are, that this is our divine birthright. So I unify with this truth. It's from the place of truth. I speak my word, truly knowing this service is absolutely a divine idea and the kind of God, and therefore I claim it to be good and very good. I know that our beloved Reverend Eunice is that vessel through which God speaks this morning. I know that everything that needs to be said is said, that everything that needs to be heard is heard. And I know that there's no accidents, that each and every one of us here today are here by divine appointment. So I know that each and every one of us get whatever glimmers that we need today, that we leave this service with a greater sense of who we are, a greater demonstration of the essence that God is all that we are. So I simply bless this time together. I bless this service. And I give thanks. I am so thankful for this spiritual community that continues to support and love and uplift all of us. I know that God knows no bounds of time or space. So I know the love and the intelligence and the good that we share is with us always. I just say thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you for these truths. And I release my word into God's perfect law, truly knowing that God has already said yes. So I simply let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste. And I'd like to invite each and every one of you to the upper room after service where you can experience prayer one-on-one with a practitioner or minister. Thank you.
In the world's darkest hours, All the wise ones say love's the only way. Speak from light to the light. On this year's longest night, we keeping vigil pray, hoping for the day and the newborn bright, blessed light. There'll come a time, friend, when this darkness will end, when fear and hate will all pass away. Let us shine within, may that time begin today. Like a seed under snow, justice finds a way. Sure as Christmas Day comes the light, comes the light, comes the light. Can't you feel it, friend, rising deep within? The light of love, the coming of the dawn. The anger, fear, and hate, the lies that separate us gone. Now in grief we embrace, in tender hope we pray. And sure as Christmas Day, speak from light to the light, bless the light of a light. Love's the only way. Comes the light, comes the light, comes the light.
Good morning, beloveds. I am so relieved to be with you this morning, for I know that you are beings of light and love and truth and wisdom, and your radiance is so brilliant that I can even feel into this field. Even though we are separate physically, we are so connected at the heart level. And it's in this consciousness that I welcome each one of you here today, for you are so loved and appreciated and celebrated for exactly who you are. And this is the consciousness of our community that we welcome all of our beloveds into. For I know that all of us come from as far off as Ron and from New Mexico, and Terry from Seattle, and even all over this valley. We are all gathering together, and so we have a community that is without physicality. It's without limits. It keeps expanding. So I am so grateful. So instead of talking about this theme today, I want to just start off with just a couple of comments. I think the theme for this year may have been the call to surrender. And that has been intensely experienced by me the last 48 hours. And it all started this week. And I want to acknowledge George, who drug out all of our beautiful Christmas trees and stuff and set them up on the pulpit. And then Jeff and Stella, Jeff Kingfisher and Stella Evans came in on Wednesday and worked real hard and got it beautiful and staged, and we did some trial videos to make sure it was beautiful and it looked even better on camera, and our new state-of-the-art streaming system. And we did one quick rehearsal, and we had another one scheduled, a dress rehearsal for Friday, and then Governor Newsom pulled the plug. And so I had to surrender and let go. And boy, did I resist, because I had been so looking forward. In fact, I tore down all my setup gear at home just because I knew I was going to broadcast from the center. And then tomorrow, and then Saturday hit. And we normally do a Skype rehearsal just to make sure everyone's system is right. And I thought, well, I still wanted a Christmas background. So I texted Stella really early in the morning, and she's the resident interior designer, decorator kind of person, has a special flair for Christmas. So she came over, and I was in my office, and she was in the living room where I set up my computer, and she started decorating and got this gorgeous Christmas tree, and we had to put it kind of similar to where I usually broadcast. And then we moved my heavy table, both of us 6 feet apart, wearing masks, and the doors are open and the air filters going and the fans overhead. So we're really adhering to social distance practices. And we moved my heavy dining room table so I could be in the frame with the Christmas tree on my side. And so then she left. I went into my office to do the Skype rehearsal and could not access my laptop. It would, some Windows 10 again update froze me out. And there was nothing I could do. And I got Jeff Gillis, one of our members, who is a tech nerd and programmer, on the phone, and he's trying to do it remotely, and he couldn't access it. And so by this time, we worked all afternoon, and I'm trying to work on my talk, and we're trying to get this laptop going, and I was frozen out of my cell phone for a while, and anyway, so it came to about 8:00, and I texted Jeff Kingfisher, our guru behind the scenes, and I went to the church, and because I knew the church could be Skyped in. Reverend Robert told me he had to go to the church once to use that office computer. So I said, okay, give up any Christmas decorations. And I rushed, and I'm bone tired, and I was spacey. And I got to the church only to find out I had left the church keys at home, which is about a 20-minute drive from my house. So I just said, okay, what is the lesson in this? You know, in 28-day faith lift, we say, look up and access a new possibility. And so what was revealed to me is it's a call to surrender. Let it go and trust. So I went home, grabbed a quick bite to eat, and I just went to sleep. Only I woke up at 2 a.m. So, so I just spent most of the time in prayer. So you all are prayed up big time. I prayed for our community and I just trusted I'd be able to access Skype easily, and I was able to set it up on the office computer, and Reverend Robert came in and set up a backup, his laptop as a backup, and put my little bit of a backdrop in the back so it doesn't look quite so offices. And so here I am. Interesting. So this has been an amazing 48 hours. Not only are we called to awaken in 2020, but we are also called to surrender. So today, the last month of 2020 begins, and we begin to complete our wonderful annual theme. And an annual theme sets the tone, is the framework through which we experience our spiritual deepening, both individually and as a community. And so annual themes to me have always been important. They provide such a potent context to understand my life at any given time. And so this month, and today in particular, we start to complete this theme. And so our theme, our annual theme for 2020 has been 2020, the collective awakening. And we have been awakening to this sense of we-ness, this sense of unity and oneness that pervades all of life. And I started to remember at the turn of the millennium, in the year 1999, midnight to the year 2000. And I had a profound awakening at that moment. And I said, oh my goodness, we are ending a century of rugged individualisms with the 1900s. And because we're entering the 2000s, that symbolizes relationship. Two is relationship and oneness and togetherness. And so back in the year 2000, I caught that humanity on a planetary level and on an individual level was to heal the rugged individualism. If it's got to be, it's up to me, consciousness, and now open up to a new reality, which is we co-create together our shared experience of life. And so I didn't realize that it would take 20 years to get to this place. And so this annual theme of the call to awaken is awakening to that oneness, that unity, the we-ness that I call. We are not a me. And that I never anticipated, and we didn't when this vision came forth in 2019's annual visioning, that the call to awakening would take the form, would become forth in the vehicle called COVID-19. And that we had this palpable, concrete experience that my actions and my behavior impacts not only just my own life, but all others that surround me. That what I do, the irresponsibility that I may take unconsciously, can literally harm or endanger another person in my family or in my immediate circle. And so this call to awaken to the we is so palpably felt, as well as the whole idea of a world that works for all. You know, in 2000, that year, we came up with this global theme of a world that works for all. Of course, in those days, we were a United Church or United Center for Spiritual Living, and that was our global heart theme. And then when we merged 14 years later, or 12 years later, we adopted that same theme as the global heart and refined it and retuned it. But this whole idea of a world that works for all is such a pure vision that it brought forth anything unlike it to be healed and released. And so no wonder we have experienced the palpable inequality, whether it's the kids in the cages at the border or the police brutality on the streets and killing, innocent people of color. I mean, it's all representative that we are not living our full potential. And so this decade, no, these 2 decades, these 20 years have brought us to this not intellectual concept, but this deep inner awareness, this shaken awake that says enough. We have to let go of the rugged individualism, that masculine energy that says, I can make my life, I have control, I can make it happen. And we have to surrender to the intuitive, and which is also the right brain, which is also the creative element. And we have to feel into a new possibility, a new way of being, which is really the seeds of oneness and unity. So December 2020 marks the end of a decade based on making this transition into this new emergent identity for humanity from the me and making it happen to the we and making goodness welcomed, making goodness welcome. Oneness, welcome. Unity, welcome. And so yesterday, we visioned, the group of people that were felt called to be there, visioned on the new annual theme for 2021, and wait till you hear it in the first Sunday of January. It is powerful, a whole new vibration. So that brings us today to our last theme for the year, our last monthly theme, which is igniting the radiant light of awareness. That there is light within us that is pure intelligence, pure awareness, pure consciousness. It is the light, and we can ignite it. And actually, everything leading up to this moment in time has ignited that awareness, that divine radiance. You know, in the Bible, in Genesis, actually, one of the first acts of creation that God performed was to say, "Let there be light." And in John 1:5, it is written, "And the light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not." Ernest Holmes says, light has the power to overcome the darkness, not by combating the darkness, but by being exactly what it is, light, light. And actually, the very first sentence of the Bible in Genesis 1 says that God was creating the heavens and the earth in the very beginning. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So this whole idea of darkness is really not negative. It's not evil, that it is a pre-existent creative void, the womb of creation, which is rich and fertile, and is the soil out of which ideas are planted and germinated and grown into magnificent expressions or magnificent creations. So with this metaphor, we can summarize that 2020 was a dark time by all appearances in our collective consciousness and in our individual consciousness, and out of which a new humanity, a new birth, a new idea of oneness and unity was really born, was breaking through that soil, the darkness, breaking through like a piercing divine spark breaks through the darkness and begins to then illuminate. We have collectively awakened to a new and more profound understanding of what it means to be a we, haven't we? So whereas 2020 was the dark, fertile soil out of which the divine spark, the inner radiance, is breaking into visibility. That's the first thing we want to realize. And because that is the case, the darkness is good in that respect. So we can look back on 2020 and not in an airy-fairy place, but in a place that feels deeply the pain and the suffering and the darkness, and say, yet in all of this, the divine spark of illumination, which is the radiant awakening within us of oneness, of unity, of our divinity, of our humanity, is being birthed. The darkness, the second point, is the darkness is also a very vivid contrast, so that we can experience that divine radiance even more palpably. We can feel that we are the light more concretely, more personally. You know, we as human beings learn by contrast and comparison. That's how we learn. That's how we get it. Boy, what a contrast this last year has been. So pain pushes until spirit pulls. And the pain and suffering of 2020 has shaken us awake to what truly matters, which is our divine nature. Because the light dissolves the darkness, and the darkness can't even comprehend it. And then the last point I want to make about darkness is really that it is a symbol for the shadow self, both individually and collectively. A lot of the things that we don't want to own are less than divine ways of coming into expression, ways that we all go unconscious and hurt one another. A lot of times we push it away, push it into the shadow part of our being so that we can keep talking the talk. All the while we have this inkling feeling that the shadow is going to come up and overtake us at any moment. So the darkness is also a symbol for the shadow self. Dr. Jacob Lieberman, who has been studying this and writing about it, and investigating this shadow self and investigating light and vision and consciousness, says this. He says, what we call our shadow self is nothing more than an aspect of our pure nature, waiting to be embraced and reclaimed. So if 2020 showed us our collective shadow self, that the limitations from which that rugged individualism, which can unconsciously become self-absorption and entitlement and disregard for others, what it has shown us and has shaken us awake is that we have to now embrace our divinity. Our divinity. This is the aspect of our true nature that is seeking to be embraced and reclaimed, owned, embodied, and literally become aware of. The inner radiance, the divine spark, the mystical light. And as Reverend Michael stated in our opening reading, our inner radiance, this divine presence within your soul consciousness, is what allows you to commune with God. So when we go to that inner radiance at the core of our being, the light of wisdom, the light of truth, the light of love, the light of oneness and unity, when we go there, we commune with the infinite, we commune with the divinity of our beingness, we commune with God. And this is also the point where we experience palpably the oneness and the unity with all other aspects of creation, all other people, but all other expressions, the planet, the environment. We experience and commune and connect in a conscious way with all others when we come from that divinity within our heart of hearts. In the Science of Mind textbook, Ernest Holmes talks about this divine spark, this inner radiance, the divine presence, when he says this: the spark which burns at the center of our own soul is caught from the living and eternal flame of the Spirit. You exist because the divine Spirit has sought to individualize itself in and through you, in and as you. This is why you are called the temple of the living God. There is a divine spark at the center of your being, but you need to recognize this, believe it, and act upon your belief. Because there is the law of cause and effect, the law of correspondence, which simply says, it is done to you as you believe. So we can believe in separation from our true nature. And our life outpictures that belief, which is what we've been experiencing. We can believe that there is evil in the world and claim it as a power and then succumb to its influence. Our experiences are always reflected in what we deeply believe at our core being. So that's why we have a continual transformational opportunity to live these teachings, to keep shedding the untruths, to get back to that core reality. It takes discipline and practice. And that's why we say you have to meditate, you have to pray, you have to read spiritual literature, you have to vision, you have to do all these things that keep your consciousness cleared of any seeming debris, dust and grit that blocks this flow. So one powerful way to recognize, believe in, and radiate this divinity, this divine spark, is through contemplation, meditation. And there is a universal prayer of sorts that has been being spoken since 1945, actually. It comes from the Tibetan Buddhism tradition, and it's made its entrance in 1945, like I said, through Alice Bailey. And it has been translated, this prayer has been translated into 100 different languages and has been used daily by millions and millions of people all over the planet, in every single continent. I started using it in 1970s. That's when I first discovered it. And this prayer is called the Great Invocation. And so I think I want to close with a great invocation. And I want to invite all of us to take a moment right now to get comfortable. And if you're standing, you might want to sit down. And I invite you now just to gently close your eyes and begin to take a big deep breath. And as you breathe in, bring your attention into your heart space, that place that is the symbol of love. We enter into the inner realm through that deepest appreciation and caring nature, and it ignites love. And now become present to your inner beingness and open to the light and the radiance within. And take another big deep breath, allowing yourself to surrender with the inner radiant spirit, the inner light, the divine spark. And now allow your awareness to start to ascend up to your crown chakra, which is located at the very top of your head. It's kind of like where that soft spot is on babies. In that whole area, including your forehead, that's the whole crown chakra. And let us begin to breathe through that and then to silently open up our radiant light and allow it to stream forth from the top of our head, merging with the infinite field, the mind of God, the infinite light of love and radiance and truth. And I will read the great invocation. And I will send it to Reverend Robert, who will put it in the next e-newsletter for you, so you can have a copy. So breathing through our crown chakra, opening up to that infinite field of light and love and possibility and truth and oneness and unity and all the qualities of God, breathing in and opening up our entire being to the light as it streams into us through that opening in our heads of our whole beingness. And let us do the great invocation. I will read the words out loud and you align with them silently. Breathing in. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men, mankind. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of mankind. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center, which we call the race of mankind, of humanity, let the plan of light and love work out. And may it seal the door where evil or separation dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. Let us breathe that in. Align with this truth. And from this radiant field of light and love and wisdom and truth, I now speak this final word of prayer, simply claiming that God is the only life there is. That this is a universe, not a dual verse. There is no power outside of God. God and only God, God the Alpha and God the Omega, God the center of all life, without circumference, without limitation or destination. God's life is so vast, so infinite that mind cannot comprehend or words describe the infinite nature of pure spirit. And yet that infinite light and love is that immanent, intimate light and love that is the substance of all creation. God has incarnated itself in, through, and as each and every one of us. And as all of us together and as all of creation in this beautiful expression of God's infinite light and love, I call forth a greater awareness. I call forth a greater alignment with this absolute truth. I call forth a shift, an absolute shift in who and what we are as individuals and as a humanity. We are the light of the divine. We are the delight of the divine. And we are here to represent and represent God in all of its fullness and glory as we come together in oneness, as we continue to deepen our awareness of the radiance within the darkness, of the divine spark that is our true identity. And as we continue to ignite the light of our radiant awakening, we prepare ourselves for the up and coming fabulous new that is about to take place January 1. So for all of this and the more, I am so grateful. I continue to hold the highest truth of the divine blueprint of wholeness and perfection that even now informs every cell, tissue, fiber, atom, molecule, and atom of every person's beingness, whether they are experiencing the seeming effects of COVID-19 or other disharmony or dis-ease or dysfunction. I know that God's perfection even now reorganizes everything so that there is a new awakening and a new corresponding identity in the physical realm. This is what I'm knowing, sensing, feeling. I know that God must express into form, and so I am so filled with praise, with gratitude, and thanksgiving for this awareness as I release this living word, allowing it to become its own magnificent expression, even now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And together we affirm it by saying, and so it is. Amen, amen, and amen. Oh, thank you so much for just the wonderful way that you are supporting the center. I was so excited in the mail when I came in the office today to use the office system. There is tons of letters, people sending in their donations, and we're so appreciative of that. I didn't open anything, but I could tell those are the size of letters with checks in them. So, it just takes all of us to support this continual growth and thriving in the community. And so I want you all to know that you can never outgive God. God, as we give, we open up ourselves to that infinite flow coming back tenfold, because that's how God does. God works that way. So it's wonderful to try to be the intentional heart and hands of God's givingness in the universe. So I just want to say thank you. And let's just do a quick prayer of gratitude for the way we support one another in our spiritual community here of CSL Palm Springs. Father, Mother, God, Infinite Spirit, we're grateful for the opportunity to be the heart and hands of God's givingness in the universe, knowing that every aspect of our givingness, whether it is a smile, word of encouragement, and the financial support, is given from the deepest place of love. And so we are open to that divine circulation, always flowing back. For that is the law of circulation. As we give, so shall we receive. And we cannot receive without giving, and we cannot give without receiving. It's one in the same. So we bless the hands that have prepared the offering. We bless the offering. We dedicate it to the glory of God. And so it is. Thank you, God. All right. So I want to really encourage everyone to take Jumpstart, which will start at 2 o'clock today. The link is on the website pop-up page. And, if you would just give yourself that gift, because if you are not yet, we don't use the word members anymore. We use the word co-creators, a stakeholder, We can participate in any way we want. But if you want to step into leadership and you want to vote in our annual meeting and some of those other things, you want to become a co-creator. And one of the ways to do that is to take this quick Jumpstart class, and we can send you a little pamphlet of other information after Jumpstart today. But please join me at 2 o'clock. It'll be fun. We'll have a little bit of an overview of how we're structured in our community here, but we're also going to give you some really creative tools that you can activate and use in your life. It's a good way for those who are existing co-creators and participants to fine-tune themselves. And so you could get some extra push or jumpstart or igniting to allow you to create the 2021 year that you want to experience. So please join me. And for the rest of the closings, I'm going to pass it to our wonderful, renowned Steve Berger.
Thank you, Reverend Eunice. And before we go, I'm pleased to announce that we are now live streaming on our Sunday morning celebration, both on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can find our YouTube channel by typing CSL Palm Springs into the YouTube search bar. With the holiday shopping season upon us, don't forget to sign up for Amazon Smile and designate CSLPS as your charity of choice. A portion of every dollar you spend on Amazon will then go to help support our center. You can also contribute to our current and ongoing costs for our live streaming service at the GoFundMe link on our Facebook page. Thanks for your continued support. Don't forget to join Reverend Rebecca Ben-Kotraman for private prayer with a practitioner for healing and revealing your highest good immediately after the service in the upper room on Zoom. And remember, Jumpstart Your Life is this afternoon at 2 p.m. You can easily link to the upper room, Jumpstart Your Life, and any of our classes and events on the pop-up page of our website, cslps.org. We'd like to end the service today with our closing affirmation. I invite you to read along with me at home. I am at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I live in the consciousness of peace. I can never be separate from my source. I am living love. Hallelujah. Amen. We'd like to leave you today with Gary Lynn Floyd and Jamie Lula singing Keep On Walking. From all of us here at the center, be safe, be well, and have a wonderful week.
Walk a mile or a minute in another man's shoes. He's got a path to take to find his truth. Any way you spin it, he's a lot like you, finding his faith on roads that you never choose. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Your vision, love be your only mission always. Let go of the old condition, let love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Tell a tale, you're in it. Hear a brother man's blues. You got a destination now and no excuse. Why do you condemn it when it's not your own? You can't unsee it once the light has shone. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always. Let go of the old condition. Let love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Don't let it cloud your vision. Love be your only mission always. Let go of the old condition. Let love be your only mission always. Your vision, love be your only mission always. Let go of the old condition, let love be your only mission always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Oh, keep on walking. Keep on walking.